Welcome back to the Nullified Take channel, where we've got the TNT takes for you on Survivor 47, episode 2, week 2. That is right. We're doing the non-recap version of the podcast, so expect for us to be a bit more relaxed. We're definitely not going to be hating on the season. We're not going to be getting technical or anything like that here, and that's why we brought our friend Tom on, because Tom is a very casual and chill guy, definitely not a bro at all. Tom, how's it going? How are you doing?
I'm having the best time of my life. I think next week will be better depending on a certain result. Otherwise, the world won't be worth living, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Survivor. It's not half bad after all.
Yeah. Did you watch the footy at all over here in Australia? Did you get into the AFL?
The AFL, I mean, I didn't watch it. I was working, but yeah, good on the Lions.
Boo.
Good on the line. So
I'm not
Tom's neck of the woods. They won the AFL
Yeah.
over here, which is our equivalent of the NFL, really.
Yeah,
we even had
my team, like Sydney Swans versus the Brisbane Lions, unfortunately, and my team got utterly destroyed, which wasn't fun.
Hey, excuse me. NRL is the equivalent of NFL. AFL is just, I don't know. It's the equivalent of American soccer. That's what it's the equivalent of. Okay.
here we go. Here we go. A bit of Australian banter.
I'm an NRL guy, but we're East Coast people, so to us it's NRL. But statistically, numbers wise, money wise, AFL kind of dwarfs NRL, unfortunately.
Yeah. And similar to America, only America plays American football, and only Australia plays AFL. Really, it's not really known outside. So it's exactly.
It takes the rugby guy to see that.
Exactly. Let's say hello to a few people here as Tom tries to figure out, I think, his internet's been giving him a bit of problems. Survivor Simp is in the live saying that loyalty, no question, is more, well, I guess, what would you choose? Would you choose loyalty or strength, Kahuna? That is the question of this live. We said, what's more dangerous? Is it to take out the person who's strong, who can win challenges, or is it the social threat? Kahuna, that's what we're going to be answering here on this live, because that was the big sort of, I feel like, overarching storyline for this episode as well. Wouldn't you agree? It was, do you want to have someone in your tribe that potentially can win you challenges, or would you rather take out someone that is potentially a social threat within the game? And TK, someone that could have been a very big benefit to his tribe, the Blue Tribe, ended up going home in this episode by overplaying potentially a little bit too hard too early. Let's have a look here. Danica says, well, we made it through the hurricane, but a large tree landed on our brand new roof. It went from the back of the house to the front, trapping us inside, but we have some awesome neighbors and a chainsaw. That's crazy, Danica. You lived real Survivor out there in Florida.
We're glad you
came out of the debris. It's all now ready for pickup at the front of the street. Without power and internet, my son took the generator over to the in-laws a few blocks away because my father-in-law was released from hospital, had surgery, only in America where they'll send him home without power. That's crazy. And yesterday I stepped on a rusty. Well, you've had the worst luck. We're very grateful that you're here, Danica, with us on the live. Sarah's saying, Danica, I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay, and I will make it through this. My heart goes out to you right now. I agree. We're all thinking of you, Danica. Gabe is saying, I think this was a great episode. And here's a guy who I know would have loved the episode. Mucky is with us, makes an appearance. Mucky, what was your favorite part of the episode? Tell us, were you with Gabe?
Yeah, no, it was a fine episode. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun, Chris. I really am. I'm having so much fun rewatching Survivor New Era because of this one thing I know how to do is how to have fun. And these cheeky little scallywags of the New Era sure do know how to make great, entertaining TV. I'm so thoroughly enjoying this New Era season of Survivor. It's just, wow. It's just blowing my mind because I'm just having so much fun, Chris. I can't tell you enough just how much fun I'm really having.
You're waking up at midnight to come and talk to us about all the fun you're having on this new season.
I am. I'm waking up at midnight because I'm just having so much fun watching this season, and I want to have fun with you boys, right? Because of this one thing I know how to do is how to have fun with some boys. And so, yeah, we're here to, have some fun, to talk about the most fun show and the
It
most
sounded
fun
like
part.
some P. Diddy stuff over there, Kahuna, with him saying he likes to have fun with the boys, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
in my opinion, something that, because I didn't notice at first, but it was when the chick stole the rice. I didn't even notice her doing that at first. So then when, Jeff Probst brought it up, I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And so I can't believe I'm going to say this. I had to rewind the episode to actually see her taking the rice. And
Wow,
that blew my mind because I was just having so much fun, right? Because,
Yeah.
when I'm having fun, I'll rewind and watch it because it's just such a fun show. I'm having so much fun.
She outdid you. She stole the rice before you even had an opportunity to go on Survivor to steal rice. Who would have
I
thought,
know.
Kahuna, that the most entertaining part of this episode for Mucky was the stealing of rice. The most strategic podcast recapper that we have on the Nullified Take channel, really, leaning in on the rice stealing, Kahuna. I know you're someone that loves your rice. Would you have taken the risk?
Raised by rice. I like that she took that risk. I like that she's like, hey, it's there, man. And Jeff, I like that he respected the attempt, but still called her on it. That's pretty good. Why not push the boundaries and see where they lie? I wouldn't have wanted to see them penalized for it. Because, it's unprecedented. You can't know that you're stepping over a boundary when there's this rice sitting in front of you, unless they said something specifically beforehand. Take whatever you can and let them call you on it later. It's, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Exactly.
We've got Gabe coming in early with the shots here saying, if it's non-hate today on the podcast, why is Tom here? Tom, why are you here? Tell us. Are you having fun like Mucky?
Yeah, so I'm just curious, Mucky. So, that rice part actually was my favorite part of the episode because for those who don't know, plain white rice is my favorite food in the world. And people don't believe me when I say that, but I'm 100% genuine. So seeing Rachel out there stealing rice, favorite player now. Certified favorite player of this season. I hope she
There
wins.
you go.
Yeah.
I like how she showed Andy as well, by the way.
Oh, I
Like-
love Andy. I love me.
Asian, you get it, right? I want to eat the rice. It's too Asian.
Bro,
That was so funny.
I'm not with that stereotype. I'm fully white, and I like rice more than anyone else in this world.
Yeah.
So
Tom doesn't
Oh, yeah,
discriminate. Like he loves his rice, I was gonna say the funniest part of the episode for me by far, boys, was Andy sitting at Tribe cutting the coconuts. Like, things are so much better now. Like, what a difference a day can make. Everybody's loving me, and you just see his tribe sitting on the side applauding him. Oh, Andy,
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you cut that coconut, boy. You're doing so well. And he's eating it up. And I'm sitting there and thinking to myself, Kahuna, how is he not understanding that this is BS? Like, they are putting it on thick, and he is thinking that they're actually applauding his skills in opening a coconut. And now everything is good. He just needed the acknowledgement, Kahuna, out there.
I was watching that and getting I was laughing and smiling at the same time as just getting very annoyed and having a little bit of PTSD because I was just getting so much vibes of my own children where I have to feign enthusiasm. Yeah, good. Daddy, what's this? And then you kicked the air. Good job, buddy. Do it. You did it again. Okay, the 12th time was even better than the 11th time, mate. Okay, good job. And that's my life, right? And I was watching them going in my head. I'm like, they're treating him like a child, like a literal child. And then Sam comes on for his confessional, goes, well, I'm on babysitting duty for Andy. And I just cracked up because I was like, it really is like he has the mind of a child. I wanted to ask Mucky, though, what did you think of the bit where, when Andy found the lizard? Because I could imagine you doing, when Andy found the lizard, what did you think of that bit? I was imagining you doing something like that.
Honestly, man, if I'm being perfectly honest, it was also another night of beers with the boys. I was starting to get all my friends to come around. So if there's one way I'm watching this show, it's not sober. All right. So to me, the whole episode was fun. And Andy as a character for me, I'm just enjoying so much. Everything from the first episode to everything he's doing now, it's gold. I love
Yeah.
it. I love Andy.
Okay, I want to bring up a couple of questions here. Sarah saying loyalty, no question. Look how many social winners we have in the new era. That is totally true. Richard is saying social over strength. Gabe is saying Survivor history shows those tribes fall apart at the merge. Mucky, happy to talk about this. His possible brother Kyle.
He ate meat for the first time. Did you see that?
Yeah, Danica saying, I think the winners should have been allowed to take the rice. Richard saying, someone do count how many times Mucky has said fun today. Absolute legend. And Adi is saying, shame, those rice are wasted. Brendan saying, raw rice has nutritional value, should have just eaten some during the challenge. Yeah, I mean, what's Jeff going to do if you start just gobbling them down, Tom? And if you start swallowing down those rice, it's not like you can get it back, right?
Nobody can stand between me and rice, whether it's raw or cooked. Rachel understands that. She's my girl. We're on the same wavelength here. Yeah.
Should have eaten it. I don't think Mucky would have asked permission. He would have just gone straight down and chow down on the raw rice, right, Mucky?
You're damn right I would have.
No, Mucky would have been asleep.
Yeah, I would have.
Chris is saying, if I was Andy, I would be so embarrassed because of how they were cheering him on. And I mean, he should be embarrassed for a few reasons at this stage. Let's be honest. Like, yes, plenty of reasons. Like, even in the episode where he goes and finds the Beware advantage and leaves it there, I get why he did it, because especially have said on the podcast before, I almost don't know if Beware advantages are worth it in the game. But when you're at the bottom of the totem pole, you should know you're at the bottom of the totem pole, Tom. That could be your lifeline in the game. And he decided to leave it there, ultimately, with Sam finding it before he could. And, like, has there ever been a player who's, I don't know, had worse luck in the game or had a worse start to the game than what Andy's had?
What blew my mind was the fact that, he put it back. And then, according to the episode, a few hours later, he thought, let me go check it again. How is it getting it a few hours later any different? Like, a Beware advantage usually means you have to do something to earn your vote. So shouldn't you leave yourself as much time as possible? Also, on the Crazy Eyes thing, like when Andy got the knife to stab at the rice, me and my dad were like, whoa, wrong person to give a knife. Wrong.
He was like he's done it before. I was like, I was scared.
He was getting giddy.
He's like,
he's done this before.
I got John, and now I'm going to get Sam, and I'm going to get headphones.
Jeff was literally telling him to watch out for his hand. He nearly stabbed his own hand doing it.
I mean, with great responsibility comes great risk, Chris. And I would happily lose a hand out there for some raw rice. So, just as you do.
Chris is saying Tom's favorite being a woman. Unprecedented. You heard it here first, Chris. Tom's favorite this season, Rachel, of all the characters at this point. Sarah saying things. Yeah, exactly. Sarah says things might be turning around with Sam aligning with Andy and potentially playing as idol for him. What did you think of that, Mucky? What did you think of how the tables have turned in this situation where, Sam was all out on Andy. He needed to babysit Andy, and then suddenly, he finds the Beware advantage. Andy trusts him, has a conversation with him about the fact that he nearly found it, and then they bond over that. What do you think of the fact that now he's potentially going to go out and save his somewhat nemesis out there in Andy?
Well, look, I mean, no disrespect to the great mad dog Philip when I make this comparison, but it's almost like a Boston Robin Philip with a Sam and Andy. You've got this useless guy who's worth nothing and has no value in the
there's
game.
No way to talk about Boston Rob. He's got a lot of fans out there.
And then you've got the strategist, right? And sometimes
the specialist.
The specialist, and sometimes the specialist needs to carry this dead weight who's just going to draw all the attention, all the heat, who's going to piss everyone off, because that's going to take everything off of you. It's going to take everything off of your allies and your group and stuff, because all eyes are on just this one person. So I actually think that could be a great move for Sam to play as idol for Andy, and then because who's the chick who's with? Who's the name? Cecilia? or something
Sierra.
like that. Yeah, Sierra. Because then it's like they're in a prime position because they can go either way on the tribe as well. So it's not really like the two of them against another two. It's like a 2 against a 1-1. And plus, all eyes are going to be on Andy. You get what I mean?
100%.
I think
Danica saying if he can control Andy, then it's a vote for who he wants out. So
That's
and
the
it,
question,
and it,
though, right?
yeah, and it looked like they were kind of setting up the whole Annika versus Sam situation. Like I feel like she's kind of in the outs, Kahuna. When they go and find the idol together in the beginning of the Beware Advantage, he said, "This is the worst person I can potentially find this with," and she immediately said, "Sam's a massive threat in this game." So it looks like they're sort of setting these two up to go against each other, and maybe Andy is like his Frankenstein monster that he uses in this scenario to vote with him.
Yeah, I think they just recognize that they see game in each other. You know what I mean? They can see who's good and who's kind of they're wary or cautious of for whatever reason. And it's usually when you can notice that someone is smart, social, whatever the case may be. So I could see that being the issue between it. And like he said, she's just not his number one, and he's clearly not her number one because she ran straight to Rachel to tell her about the Beware Beware Idol. So they kind of have that, like, you know, they have the same thing, the mirroring kind of thing, like the opposite ends of the spectrum is that I'm with Rachel. We're both kind of knowing that Andy's not a factor. It's Rachel and Annika versus Sam and Sierra, and it's interesting that that's how it. But I think he played that really well to actually find it with her. He couldn't have done it any better. Like he knew immediately he wanted to bring Sierra in. He knew Annika would go running to Rachel, so he had to tell Rachel and not keep it a secret. Like as far as making a good situation out of an unfortunate like thing, like he really did the best he could, I think.
But also, just on top of that, like we've just seen just how great a public idol can really work for you with the Mad Dog Ferris and Times vs Rebels, right? Like everyone knew he had an idol, and I feel like the information of him having that idol made people very scared to vote for him because there wasn't a lot of times where he could be splurted on.
Well, it's only good for one, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, we saw like he hardly even got targeted from the merge onwards, right? So yeah, I feel like a public idol, like I don't know, I feel like advantages these days just have a lot less value. No one's really like that, oh my god, about it. You get what I mean? But I feel like something
because they know there's probably something else along the way that's going to be even more powerful. Like they might get the knowledge is power, or they might get to jump on a boat somewhere to go get something, or you know, it's just so many variables in the game that it's become less dangerous. And now that we've had a couple of weeks of seeing how it's playing out with the idols having less and less power as well, you know, in the case of Sam, he was like, I'm not risking it. I'm just taking one vote. So that way I know I'm guaranteed I'm going to be playing it, right? And something very similar happened also in Rome's side of the equation. Let's talk a little bit about that tribe, Tom. Like, you know, I'm a big fan of Rome. Like, I think at the moment Sam's probably playing the best game, but Rome is just entertainment.
So you still like the guy?
100%. I'm all in on Rome.
Well, he could have made the NBA. He could have been a rapper.
Yeah,
of course you like
exactly. He could have been a podcaster. He could have been on the Nullified Take, and he would have replaced either Mucky or yourself, Tom, because he's that good.
Why me?
I swear, last week you compared yourself a bit to Rome, Chris. That aged well.
I don't know if I compared myself to Rome. I may have said I've seen some characteristics of some other great players that have played, you know, the game before.
But
like JD, because he reminds me of JD, just delusional. You know?
I did say by the way, I did say in my cast analysis, which you clearly didn't watch, and that hurts my feelings a little bit. I did say he could play like JD, actually. I did say it in the cast analysis.
You're right, but at least I acknowledge when I don't watch things. Hey, Mucky. Yeah, I cop it on the chin, and I accept it.
Oh, no,
I'm sorry. I'm not going to watch Andor, Tom. I'm sick of it. I'm just over it. Andor's a shit show. No one likes it. Move on. Ahsoka's always the best.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
How did this become a Star Wars show?
Oh, everything's Star Wars with Mucky. No, anyway, but Rome, he's I can't wait for him to just watch this back. I hope he's like fourth out, and he gets voted out in a super embarrassing way. Oh, I hope he plays his idol on someone else because he feels comfortable. What an idiot! Oh, he needs to have like a JD kind of send off. He needs a reality check, just like
You know
old
what I'm
mate.
going to enjoy, Kahuna? Is hearing Tom complain about Rome the whole season as he goes all the way to the top 5. I
Mate, the only-
reckon Rome's is a lock for the top 5 at this stage in the game. He's playing the game exactly like
Whoa.
the new age survivor needs to. This is how the new era is supposed to be played, right? You have to go all in, try and find the idols, play fast and sloppy, make your own luck. This is what Jeff loves. You know, he plays this, but he's probably going to play that bad boy in the next round. He's going to go back out there. He's going to find another Beware advantage. I'm calling it right now. Rome's got the energy to take the season deep, Kahuna.
Wow, you don't see a similar like I watching today. I actually watched this afternoon just so I'm fresh. When we had, was it last year or last season? It was 45, but there was a season where we had I think it was only last season, 46. We had very similar like mirror tribes. Like it was going on both sides, like multiple tribes doing very similar things. You don't get a TK vibe with Rome here. Like he's just
No,
maybe
not to that
annoying them
degree.
too much.
Not to TK. I think TK, I could see how you maybe would say TK, and obviously clearly socially he's struggling in that tribe right now.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he could be an energizer buddy, find a lot of advantages that keeps him in the game. I feel like he's that kind of scrappy kind of player. But maybe he won't. Maybe he flames out. But as long as he's there, it's going to be entertaining. I like the players that annoy other players, but I don't think, for me, TK had toxic behaviors. Rome thinks he's more than what he is, but he's not bossing his tribe around from what I can see. He stepped back.
Yeah.
He let the Kashan take the flint, make the fire. He didn't say, no, I'm the leader. I'm going to do it.
He said he can do it in
Don't
15
smile
seconds.
while the fire's not there. He didn't tell people not to smile or anything like that. It wasn't the same vibes.
He was spewing when he didn't put that fire up. I see TK's like the leader of the idiots, but Rome is the guy who looks up to TK and wishes he could be TK, which is even sadder. That's even worse, Both useless. Bye. Rachel, Rice Queen.
How the
Do you think
tables have
it's the
turned.
strategy?
Tom doesn't like any of the guys so far, Kahuna. He's all in on Rachel.
Interesting.
Oh no, I
It's
love
a-
Andy.
it's a-
I love Andy.
Andy's a goat.
So you
This
just
is
lost
so
all your
weird.
credibility. See, you just lost all
He's
his credibility
taking-
with that comment.
He's taking Mucky's corner here, like as far as
Yeah.
No,
going for the Rogues and the
He's
Stevies of
eating
the
his
season.
lunch.
I mean, look, Rogues and Stevies is all we have, Kahuna. All right, who else do you want me to care about? I don't remember half the cast, all right, but I remember Andy.
why don't you
Okay,
remember
I know
them?
Andy. They're also forgettable. Everyone's
Really?
so
Is that the
forgettable,
reason?
Tom. I think
Well,
so, Tom.
Let me
Chris's
read a couple
comment
of comments. We've been leaving the crowd out of this for a while. I want to read a couple of comments. Artie said, "Can they move the advantage clue? And you should just take it unopened and let no one find it." No, the Beware advantage clearly state that if you're not going to take it, put it back where you found it. So he can't take it and hide it somewhere else, unfortunately for him. Sarah says also, "I can't eat rice, sadly, because of sensory issues. It's really hard for me to eat texture-wise. I try." That's unfortunate.
I can
She'll
relate
never-
to that. Because
Can you?
when I first got my braces off, right? Because like with braces, like I could not have like spaghetti or spinach. It would just wrap around like the brackets and the wires, and it's horrible. And even stuff with like lamb and pork, like those really hard like foods and stuff that you don't want to damage the wire with. Like I didn't eat any of that for like 5 years. So when I first started eating certain foods, stuff like that again, it was so hard. It was horrible. So Sarah, I understand, I relate to you, but you can overcome it.
Mm-hmm. Danica says, if he can control Andy, then it's a vote for him. We read that previously. Gabe saying on Garda, it's Annika and Rachel versus Sam and Sierra. If Andy can keep calm or can calm down and not do something crazy, I think he can play the middle, but I don't even think Andy knows that he's in a good position at this stage. Darren says Sam should not have taken it with Annika right there. True, bit of a rookie mistake, but I think he reacted well to that, and she was kind of close when it happened. So I do agree with Kahuna that he did the best that he could from a really bad situation. Gabe is saying Sam did the right thing since Annika saw him take it. Teeny screwed up badly. Yes. Everybody is hard on Rome at the moment, but I feel like Teeny really overplayed with bringing Kashan in and doing what she did and getting caught red-handed. And I think that is the thing that potentially would make Rome aware that he's not as tight with her as he thought he was. And we didn't really get to hear much from the other tribe member that he has. The one that kind of reminds me, Genevieve, the Mucky's favorite player. We didn't get to hear much from Genevieve this episode, but I know she's quite close to Rome, or was at least in the first episode. But this could be maybe the thing that will put Rome on alert here. So I've got a little bit more hope that he can go deeper. It's kind of like last season. I'll tell you where I'm coming from, Tom. I really enjoyed Q. I know he annoyed a lot of the viewers. I know he annoyed a lot of the people on the season. I just like that person that's the heel on the show. Like, if we lose Rome so early on, I feel like it's like we deserve to see Rome and Andy make the merge. That would be a thing of beauty at this stage. You're muted, I think.
Q is 20 times bajillion more times better than Rome. I loved Q. He's been my favorite New Era player, probably. But like,
oh really?
Yeah. Rome's just what a goober. But what I was going to say about Teeny, I agree. We should criticize Teeny because, like, they're doing a lot to show us. Yeah, like they're saying, "Oh, I want to work with Teeny. Oh, Teeny's really cool. I love Teeny." But they haven't really shown us anything likable about Teeny. She's got cool pants. What else is there to her? Nothing. She's just stupid name.
It's all in the pants.
Stupid name, cool pants. It's all in the pants, honestly. Because can they show us her being interesting? Question mark. Just wondering.
The pants make it interesting, Tom. As a actor, you should know to read between the lines of the script, and her pants.
Well, what do her pants look like, Mucky?
It's just iconic pants, Tom.
Really?
Just iconic
but you should be able to.
Tom, I feel like you're straying away from off topic here. It's just iconic pants.
Hey, chat.
You don't like the pants. Get over it.
Can you
Tom.
describe
Honestly,
the pants
Tom,
for Mucky?
like,
I don't think Mucky's seen the pants before for some reason. He's watched the show, but he hasn't seen the pants.
Pants, Tom. Exactly. You've got to go.
Normally, Mucky only picks allies based on pants, and he doesn't even know the color of the pants.
That's strange.
As an actor, Mucky, what did you think of Sam's acting with Andy?
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Why? Why is it?
It's like I was
elaborate.
Man, it's 12:32. Give me a break, all right? I'm just
Okay.
so tired.
Brendan is asking, can we please have a puppy break? And I think Mucky needs a puppy break right now. Where everyone or anyone with a puppy puts it on screen. I don't know if your puppy is close by, Kahuna. Puppy is sleeping.
Puppy's out with the kids at the moment. It's school holidays, so they're staying up late and playing with the puppy. So
we're going to get in trouble, Kahuna, on YouTube because, if we start using animals and puppies to get viewers and ratings, like I feel like it's unethical. What are you trying to do here, Brendan? Get us in trouble with the YouTube police? We don't need that, okay? Do not need to get in trouble.
yeah.
Deanna, welcome to the live. It has been a lively one so far tonight. Chris is saying Tom and his feminist icon arc. It is true.
I will say that the first time I support a female and my internet's terrible. Is there something in this? Is there a parallel?
Yeah, your internet does not want. They don't want there to be. They don't want there to be any incriminating evidence. So we're just seeing this blurred version of Tom every time. So people are going to be like, was it even Tom that really spoke to us? Like, there's no video evidence that Tom actually is endorsing a female Survivor player this season. We can't even clip it. So Gabe saying Genevieve is the purple Canadian. Sarah saying not something you can overcome. Unfortunately, I've had it since I was a kid. That's why I know I couldn't do Survivor because I can't have tags on clothes, certain foods, etc. I can't eat rice, but I'd have a lot of water or something liquid for help because it literally gets stuck and I choke. Trust me, sensitivity is not fun. Would you be able to have coconut, Sarah? Like, I feel like that's like, if you can't have coconut, you're screwed because like, that's probably like the only other thing they have on the island. Gabe's saying, there is all Tom again. Chris is saying, I only pick allies
He's
based on their
pretty
fans.
right.
And then Gabe says, the internet can't handle Tom supporting a female player, which is true.
Sense. That's why
Were you
Yeah.
impressed, Mucky, by Kashan's fire making skills? Like, did you learn anything with the technique that he used in this episode that you could take on board if you were ever to go and play Survivor New Zealand when it comes back?
No. I mean, just, yeah, it's fire. It's not that complicated. Like, you can just learn, you can get machete, scrap
No.
magnesium. You just,
It was complicated for
It's hard.
Rome. He normally
Well,
makes
yeah.
it in 15 seconds, and he couldn't do it.
everything's bloody complicated for Rome. Gosh, you know, like,
I-
after being named after a great civilization, you'd think you'd know a thing or two, right? But, no.
I think what Chris is asking, do you like the approach Kashan used to actually making the fire? Because, you know, Rome was sort of guns blazing, saying, I can do it. But, you know, Kashan was different. Do you like Kashan's approach?
Yeah.
I mean, look, fire is fire. Like, there's so many different ways to making fire and all these different speeds. So I feel like you can.
Fire's not just fire. Fire's
Yeah.
life in the game of
Fire is
Survivor,
life.
Mucky.
But
Do
what
not
is life,
disrespect
Chris?
fire.
But what is life, Chris?
Mate, it's 12 o'clock in the evening. Why are you getting so
Very-
Life
It's all about life, Chris.
very
What is life?
general
If
and
fire, if fire is life, there's many different kinds of blazes of fire. You got your house fires, your forest fires, your campfires. So,
Gabe saying, I think we have to get
yeah.
used to Chris gushing over Rome. Hey,
Yeah,
I've got
pretty much.
everybody telling me how
Unreal.
wrong I am at the moment, Gabe. I may as well be the only one who's got Rome's back in this situation, being like, hey, let's go, Rome. You can do it. If I'm wrong, so be it. Everybody's already expecting Rome to fail. But if I'm right, I get bragging rights. So I feel like I've got nothing to lose in this situation, you know. So I'm definitely going to be backing my boy Rome. Dolores is saying, I'm listening, guys. Multitasking over here. Oh boy, this should be good. Welcome, Dolores.
It is good.
Sarah's saying I can have coconut flavor thing in a little bit, but I'd have to eat it very slowly, so I'd probably get made fun of. That's tough. Survivor is tough. Like if you've got any kind of issues with eating, I forgot the lady's name last season, which was one of Tom's favorites, who played, what was her name again? The
Liz.
billionaire lady that had the business? Liz.
Liz.
See, you immediately knew.
She couldn't eat rice though.
She couldn't eat rice or no, she couldn't eat coconut. She could eat rice though. Yeah, you're right. Ken.
Wait, was Liz the one who had that meltdown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Over, like,
Because of Applebee's.
Applebee's. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've seen in the last 4 seasons.
Chris is saying, I like how Kashan didn't step in until he was asked. He played his skills casually, which is true. He didn't take the dominant position. He stood back, let Rome do his thing, and then asked towards the end, I believe, hey, can I have a go at it? Rome gave him the opportunity, and then it looked pretty instant for him to get the fire started. So, again, definitely not a good look on our boy Rome there in the early stages. But all the action really happened in the Blue Tribe, Kahuna, this episode. Were you surprised by Gabe not doing the obvious thing? I mean, if this was Tom, nine out of 8 times, he would have gone with the boys alliance. You know, Tom's a boy, he's a bro, he would have been in there with the bros, but Gabe chose the other approach, and he wanted to stick with Sue and the other girl who's in this tribe. I kind of forgot her name right now.
You forgot a
'Cause she's-
woman's name? How
Caroline.
dare you?
Caroline.
Carol.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Were you surprised by that approach?
Look, first of all, I just want to say I'm surprised Mucky wasn't way more excited about this episode because the very opening scene of Blue Tribe was Gabe catching a crab with his feet. And then there was the whole
do like
thing of
feet.
Sam digging with his gross socks. There was a lot of feet stuff going on. I thought Mucky would be like so excited for this episode.
Well, as I said,
Yeah.
I had so much fun this episode, Kahuna. Like,
You did
more
say
fun
you had fun
than
a
what
lot.
you guys had.
And it
I
must
really did have a lot of fun, and I was with the
I
boys.
figured.
There's a lot of feet and crab action, and often those two do go together, Kahuna. And so, as a guy who strongly believes in Bigfoot and likes feet, it was a phenomenal opening episode. But I also loved like the thread of rocks as well, like it was rocks, feet, crabs. That's how you get my attention.
Perfect
That's all
cocktail.
it
It's why
is.
you're up at
Yeah.
midnight. Come
Yeah,
and talk to us.
but keep
As
aside
far as
the
his
tail.
choice goes, I did like it. I like that he didn't want to just be the fourth. and sit idly by in TK's, and let TK be the boss. I still get weirded out, Chris, by the fact that to me he still looks like Josh, but he doesn't sound like an idiot, and he sounds actually articulate and can process thought well. So it spins me out, like, because he still very much looks like Josh. But anyway, yeah, like he now is kind of, by bringing in a Tiana, breaking up, like getting rid of a TK, of his four with Sue and Carolyn, he kind of is the leader now. Because he brought them all together in that, or not necessarily Tiana, but by being close with Sue, by really playing his idol well with Carolyn as well to build that trust early. I thought it was an overplay. I thought it was like, but then it turns out the fact that she went back to Sue and could verify and got that like back channel confirmation and stamp of approval, it turned out really smart from Gabe. And I even like the fact that at Tribal, when asked about being out and do it, like last week when he was making all that noise and doing crazy, and we were like, I can't believe no one checked on him. He kind of played it off as like, I'm just being Indiana Jones. Let me be Indiana Jones. I'm having fun out here. So he played it really well to be the quiet guy with TK whilst also leading the Underground Alliance. I thought he played it really, really good.
Yeah. And if you had to go up against TK and you had to go up against Kyle, like, it's probably two more difficult people to beat towards the end of the game when it comes to challenges and immunities and things like that. So he looked at Sue, he looked at Caroline, and he thought, easier road to the end for me here. I found it hilarious how Caroline didn't want to trust him. Even when he showed her the idols, she was still like, I don't know about this. Like, there's something sketch here. She really seems like a bit of an odd character to me as well. The way she analyzes social cues feel like it's a bit off. Like, to me, it's the Goon Squad. It's the Revenge of the Nerd Squad that is like taking control of that tribe. That's going to take over. They're going to get rid of the athletes and TK and Kyle. And I don't know if we could probably talk a little bit about the fact that we had Tiana also move over to that side as well. And I don't know if she did the right thing, because she was constantly fighting between her emotions and her head. And Mucky, what's normally the best decision in your mind? Is it the emotional decision or the decision you make strategically with your head that is the one that's going to get you the furthest in the game? Because she had that massive fight with TK prior to the tribal council where he called her out, or the tribe out, for smiling after they lost.
Well, look, as a very strategic man myself, as which we all know me to be, I'm going to go through a different approach and say that you've got to follow your emotions, right? Because end of the day, yes, while Survivor's a strategic game, and everyone likes to game bot the new era of Survivor, end of the day, it's a social experiment, right? And you got to go with the people who you feel the most comfortable and the people who you like the most, right? That's why we see players like Luke and Shiny do really well, because they're just so likable. Everyone wants to be with them, right? And so you naturally just end up going with the group who you like the most. So if you keep having arguments with someone, or if you do have a big fight with TK, stuff this guy. I want to be with the next like week and a half with them. You get what I mean? So yeah, I always think it's best to go with your emotions sometimes, but there can be a step too emotional, which what we have seen in the past, like Survivor South Africa, Philippines, like with Tony and Verna and stuff, is a great example of that. But yeah, it's really hard to draw that fine line between your emotions and your head, right? What is strategically smart versus emotionally smart? I feel like at the start of the game, go with people who you like the most, because that's most likely reciprocated.
Tom, what did you think of this move? And did I have it right? Like, I'm sure it would have been difficult to work with Sue and Caroline in the game. Like, do you think Gabe made the right decision? Where would you have gone if you were in Gabe's position here in the game? Would you have broed it out, or would you have gone with Sue and Caroline?
I feel like TK's a person you could like throw an olive branch to like another tribe at the merge, like another tribal alliance. Be like, yo, I'm happy to get rid of TK. I want to build like a bridge with you guys and work with you, because he's valuable to get you to the merge in a larger group of numbers, and then
Yeah.
he's very easy to throw under the bus, and people would see his personality and be like, "Yeah, I'm down to vote him out." So,
Yeah.
and it's tough because
Missed
like,
opportunity, right?
yeah, I just think like how I'm not a tribe strength kind of guy. Like it's more than just tribe strength for me, but I think maybe Sue should have been the first boot, and then and then if you lose again, you could probably vote out TK. I think.
Mm.
Hmm.
I feel like Gabe made a huge mistake. And the reason I feel like I agree with you, I feel like he should have taken TK deeper into the game. There's a higher likelihood that they do win challenges with TK with the strength that he brings to it. And like you said, it's not just about that. It's also the fact that TK had a very bombastic personality. He would have gone into a merge and probably have pissed a lot of people off in any case. But then you've got the reverse situation where he could have been this season's Q, and maybe people would have kept him along because you go and sit next to someone like that in the end of the game, they probably don't win. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for Gabe to be in. But the worst thing that he could have done, in my mind, was playing the idol that he went through so many different hoops to get to 3 tribal councils, and he ends up burning it in this episode, Tom. What?
Oh, like when I saw that, I was thinking the only thing I can think of is because people were speculating about him having an idol, he thought, let me just play it and get it out of the way. But like, I thought at least play it for Sue. You haven't heard your name at all. You know, you voted for TK, and Sue would have voted for TK. Like there's no tribe has secretly blindsided you and everyone's voting for you. Like there's no way that was going to happen. Like if he was going to play it, he should have played it for Sue to at least show how how she can trust him. But he shouldn't have played it at all. Yeah.
Like even all the work he did with Caroline to say, hey, I've got an idol, we can use this thing together. Look at me, I'm trusting you. All of that's gone now because he is shown to be weak under pressure, playing it on himself, cracking, not really protecting the alliance. Luckily for them, Tiana did end up going over to their side of the alliance, and it ends up with, TK going home in this scenario. And I loved some of the things that that he said towards the end, TK, when he was sort of out of the game, when he was saying like, it was something like, yeah, the tribe didn't like me wanting to win and being a winner, and that's why I'm leaving so early. So he's leaving because he's too big of a winner, Kahuna, to still be in the game, and they didn't like him just wanting to win all the way. Like, he's like, we're going to win so much in Survivor, if you keep me around, they'll get tired of how much we're going to be winning in this game. But they didn't want that. They voted him out.
That sounds familiar.
Does it?
Let's
make what's the blue tribe? Let's make this blue tribe great.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Like, he says that, but if you were really, really that good at winning, hey, man, you wouldn't be at tribal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think, like, it is a delicate balance and a difficult decision to make. But I think there's also an argument to be made that if you're not gelling with someone, no matter how good their individual brilliance may be in a team game, especially when there's different stations and different things, the chemistry could actually be a detriment in challenges as far as getting you to the next stage stuff. Like, not necessarily. Like, I think on net, he would definitely be a net positive. But I'm just saying there is that other side of the coin. Certainly comes up less often, and is less likely. But there is a chance where negative energy, negative chemistry, especially like to the point where you said before, Chris, Tiana had to make that choice between emotional and strategic, and she chose emotional. I think it shows how strongly she felt because he was messing with their sleep. He was like disrespecting her. Like, when it gets to that level.
He was telling Sue how to make friends in the game, basically coaching her in tribal council of what she should be doing in the game before he was on his way out. It was hilarious to see him be like, so Sue, you just need to be more social. You need to talk to more people. This is how you make friends on Survivor. Next thing you know, he's out.
He said, like, who's actually even talked to her? That was so funny because, like, Gabe was like, I love Sue. Sue's my number one. Like, he was talking to her from the first thing, and TK's like, who even talks to Sue at all? While he's just got Kyle, and he's pissed at everyone else in the tribe.
Yeah.
Like, zero self-awareness for TK.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rome as well. And that's almost like the downfall for them, right? Like that could be Rome's downfall. I'm hoping that he catches it a little bit more because TK had no idea of how he's coming across to these people and how much he's actually putting his game in jeopardy just by his own personality to come out and say clearly they don't want to win. Like, yeah, well, how much did you annoy them if that's how much they don't want to win? Like, how bad were you to them to vote out someone that in your mind is clearly the strongest person? You must have done something egregious to get to that point. You know what I mean?
100%. Chris says Gabe took all those extra steps to get a longer idol and still played it at the first tribal. LOL. Danica saying, hey, Florida people, you make out okay. My damage is at the top of the chat. Hoping everybody in Florida is doing okay after the really severe weather you guys have had. Brendan is saying, I'm waiting for all the roads lead to Rome or when in Rome confessionals. We haven't seen any of those yet. Sarah saying, although even if I was first bird, I could bring awareness to dyspraxia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, which would be great because not many people know about it or try to constantly question your diagnosis. So that would be great. Gabe is saying going with the woman wasn't surprising because after TK caught him, getting the key could tell that the relationship was bad. Yeah, true. And he kind of worked Gabe out and he treated Gabe as just someone he could bring in at the end to say where to vote. It didn't feel like he treated Gabe as an equal, which is probably the biggest reason why Gabe moved away from him, I would say, in the game, because you don't really want to be with someone where you know you're just a number, you're a vote for them, that they're going to dictate for you, but you're not going to have an equal say in the alliance. Dolores is saying, Danica, we did go, never lost power, so all. So that's on the Florida side. Gab's saying, don't think he's the leader. Sue feels more like the glue holding that alliance together. Caroline still felt hesitant to work with Gabe even after revealing the idol. Totally true. Hollis, good morning. Welcome to the live. Gabe saying Mucky's brother had a better idea on how TK should have handled the Tiana situation. And I agree. Kyle, how do you think he's going to go in this game now, Tom? Now that he's lost his brochato, okay, we've got lost Tom, so he may not. I don't know if you're there, Tom, or not. But how do you think Kyle's going to go now that he's lost TK in the game?
I can hear you. Okay, maybe not.
Okay.
BRB.
How do you think Kyle's going to go now that TK's gone?
I think he's struggling, man. He doesn't have anyone. I think he's on he really tied himself to TK. They were the bromance, even though he said, I'm not in a bromance or a romance with anyone and I made friends with girls and blah, blah, blah. The fact that you said I made friends with girls probably means that you really didn't make friends with girls as much as you are with TK for sure anyway. It's obvious to everyone, even though in his head he might think I'm not that close. Like he has made it clear to the point where Tiana, who was in their group, said, I very much felt on the outside. I thought Jeff made a really cool observation that when describing it, they didn't say it's split evenly. They said the boys on top and the women on the bottom, even though it's 3-3, was a really interesting way to put it. And again, maybe showing how comfortable and how going to where Kyle is going to be now. He doesn't have a lot. If he felt that comfortable with TK and now he's gone, who was very much a domineering alpha personality, I'm interested to see what Kyle has. Like, we haven't seen a lot of his own sort of movements and what he can do because it's only been 2 episodes. But I do want to see what he does, how he socializes, how he can come back from the bottom, because I'm not seeing it. I think he was a number.
He seems like a likable guy.
Yeah,
he seems like a likable guy. And I was going to say, I agree with Gabe kind of saying he feels that for Tiana, this could be a bad move. I feel like Kyle could potentially see another week in the tribe if they go back to tribal council based on tribe strength, based on the fact that he's not someone that is going to be, he's not going to bring conflict to that alliance potentially or to that tribe. So it's not like you're keeping somebody in the tribe that's very toxic or someone that's going to work against you and that you maybe won't trust because he doesn't have that much game. I don't know about Tiana. I don't know if she's in a good position at the moment in that tribe if they go back to tribal council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with Tiana, I think with Tiana in that group, she was ahead of Gabe. So with TK and Kyle, that was really the three, with Gabe as the fourth number, like just a number. But TK, I think, was looking at Tiana with a little bit of respect as far as the strategy goes. But obviously, she didn't like the way he talked as far as competition goes. But I do think she was pretty in that group and helping with choices, maybe, as much as TK would let her. And now she's very much going to be fourth in that group that she's chosen. So
I could easily see
maybe losing Kyle as a loyal person as well.
Yeah,
Well,
I can also
also,
easily see Gabe doing the numbers. Like he probably will look at it and say, "Well, do I want another guy out? And then I'm the only guy with, potentially 3 women in the tribe." Like if he does those numbers, maybe he does keep Kyle around for that reason as well. Mucky, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say because Caroline didn't trust Gabe even after he showed her the idol, right? So there's obviously trust issues there with Gabe. Yes, Gabe and Sue are tight. So I can totally even potentially see scenario where Gabe is out. Do you get what I mean? Yeah, because it's
100%.
yeah.
Let me see what other people are saying here. Deanna's saying Gabe was protecting himself from rocks in case Tiana voted for Sue, so that's why he played the idol. I did think so in the moment that is probably one of the reasons that he did play it.
If he used it on Sue, the rocks wouldn't have happened anyway, right?
It's a better move, yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan saying TK being voted out, but from viewpoint of Sue, aka Sue's big move, would have fixed this episode with Gabe's idol shenanigans being the subplot. Very true. Obviously, Sue's big move. We're still waiting for it over an Australian Survivor. Gabe saying it's a public idol, just get rid of it, but play it for Sue. He just wants flashy play. If it went to rocks, just go for surefire win, not rocks. Sarah saying, I'm sure we will hear it in a confessional start of the episode. The good thing, I guess, it makes Tiana feel Sue Women Alliance is real. When a real alliance is Sue, Caroline, and Gabe. Totally true. And Chris is saying real winners don't come in 17th place. Artie saying TK goes to the mansplaining territory. Very true. Sarah's the funny part is in the exit interview. He's still denying he didn't do anything, lol. And she was perfectly social. TK just not with you. Alamay, so that is really it for this episode, really, and all the big highlights. Like the biggest part of this episode, really, Mucky, was the 30 minutes following the boys chasing the Beware advantage and trying to find the key. How entertaining is seeing them go on these idol hunts now, or Beware advantage hunts for you, where it takes up 30 minutes of the episode for us to follow Rome and both Sam doing that. Are you not entertained by seeing this for half of the episode?
Well, look, as I said, I had so much fun with this episode. I'm having so much fun with this season. Honestly, this is the most fun experience I've ever had with any Survivor season globally. This is such a fun time. It's just so much fun. I really enjoy watching people go out searching for advantages, which mean crap. A Beware advantage is basically nothing. You lose your vote. And even if you do gain an advantage, what do advantages do in American Survivor anymore? You get what I mean? There's just so many of them. It's pretty much worthless, right?
Yeah.
I'd be more impressed to see people dominate a game without ever having an advantage, because that would be brand new for New Era Survivor. But don't worry, I'm having so much fun, really enjoying it, because this is just such a fun experience. This is a fun podcast. I'm having so much fun. And honestly, if there's one thing I'm going to take away with this, is that it's just so much fun. So yeah, just like with Danica, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's this thread on Reddit at the moment that talks about advantages, and they're asking, is the advantages in New Era Survivor getting even stupider? They say advantages have been unnecessary for a while, but the Beware advantage nonsense in this first episode and second episode almost has zero upside in the grand scheme of things. Game and Rome was set up, call me unambitious and old-fashioned, but we never really needed anything other than the immunity idol. The social game is interesting enough on its own. All these extravagant twists have ever really done is target good players early on. And then somebody's asked here, I generally feel like they're just holding out for someone to actually deny the Beware advantage, but obviously Brandon already did that a couple of seasons ago when he gave it to Sabia on that season. He didn't actually get it, so I don't know if they're still holding on for that. It feels like we've just seen the Beware advantage now for what is it, since season 41?
Yeah.
7 seasons in a row, right?
Yeah. Boring.
What more can we do with these Beware advantages, Tom? You're normally the positive one on the podcast. Give me the golden line. Put yourself in the producer's seat for Survivor and tell us what are we holding out for on this Beware advantage? Where are we going with this?
You're right. I am really positive. Thank you for acknowledging that, Chris. You're the second most positive.
Thank you.
Yeah, look, I think maybe if they do enough Beware advantages, like maybe someone will actually play one correctly. Has anyone played any correctly yet? I don't even know.
I don't think so. I think
we're going for just law of averages.
Like, I don't remember a correct one.
Yeah. No, I think there was one that someone played in the first episode of one season, and they played it correctly on themselves. You remember? There was a season where someone...
season 4,
46.
season 44, Brandon.
Oh, was it? Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Wow.
Far out, the fact that there was one. Oh my gosh. That's
wasn't that, or was it season 45 that had like the tribal where only like 2 people could vote or something like that?
That was 45.
Yeah,
it was 45, like at the first tribal.
Just wait for it, Mucky. Don't spoil it. It's happening after the merge. People lose their vote normally after the merge. We don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Oh,
we haven't seen that one play out 7 seasons in a row.
No. But I swear it was the first episode. I heard about it.
Mucky, you know nothing about New Era, so why don't you just stay
I
quiet and don't
just have fun. Just have fun watching the episodes. Don't think too much. We don't want you. We don't want you to hurt your head.
I'm just having so much fun. I need to stop asking questions because it's just a lot of fun, guys. It's just a lot of fun. It's fun.
Jeff makes the show for you because he asked himself one question when he went into Near Era: is it fun?
That's a fun, yeah, and he's doing a phenomenal job because it's the most fun show I've ever seen. Like my socks blow off.
We've broken Kahuna. We've broken Mucky, bringing him into Near Era Survivor this season. I feel like we've broken him.
It's just
you're using the word fun. I do think that the scavenger hunt is more fun than the weird passphrase that they had to sneak into conversation. Like that was really dumb and awkward.
You didn't like the being as... Were you as confused as a goat on AstroTurf when they started bringing up these phrases?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That thing. Like this is at least visually more fun, you know.
No,
I
totally
either
agree.
way, it's just such a fun experience.
Brendan here says
so much fun.
Yeah, go for it.
I know it's completely off topic, but I have to out Mucky here. The other day, he was talking about fish and chips, and then he stopped to explain what fish and chips is, as if I can't comprehend what fish and chips is. He's like, yeah, I don't know if you have it in Australia, but there's fish and chips. You can also get burgers and sausages and stuff. I'm like, Mucky, what do you think New Zealand's a magical... Do you think fish only exist in New Zealand? Oh my...
Yeah.
Brain cells. The brain cells. Maybe that's why I'm on Rachel's side.
You just need to do what I do, Tom. Whenever he dials me, I leave him unanswered. It's the best way to go.
Kahuna can back me up here. Have you not the famous story of Maui and how he fished up the North Island and his waka is the South Island, Tom? We've got the fish. You've got Jack. Hungry Jacks.
So you know Hungry Jacks, but you don't know that we have fish and chips here.
From our waters, gosh. Get your own ocean, Tom. Gosh.
Did you know that we have meat pies too?
You guys got meat pies? But Kahuna, do you blow on the pie?
You always blow on the pie.
Always blow on the pie. Always blow on the pie.
Gabe says Mucky has messed up Tom's mind so much he's cheering for a woman this season.
Honestly.
I'm going to bring up another comment here. Brendan says New Era Survivor is kind of like that show Lost. It just gets more and more ridiculous as the season goes on. And the best character was Vincent the dog or Mucky's puppy in the TNT universe. Adi's saying, I think in trouble next week in blue is Tiana, yellow, Annika or Rachel. Red don't have a clue. Probably Genevieve or something like that because she's been purple. Like, I've got no idea. Maybe Teeny. Like, I mean, if Rome's smart, he targets Teeny right now after she outed him in this first episode, right?
Who does he pull? Who does Rome
Yeah,
Rome can
if
pull
they
anyone.
split, they'll have to split the vote, right? They'll have to.
Rome's the
There's how
man.
many people? Six people in the game, so they'll have to split the vote or something, or just not vote for him and vote for someone else and keep him out of the vote. I guess if Genevieve is the only one that's close to Rome in the game, then she could be the obvious next target.
Do you reckon Teeny's pants are enough to save her? By the way, Mucky, have you figured out what Teeny's pants look like yet?
Conveniently dropped out as soon as you asked them that question.
Yeah.
That is it, though, for this week. I think that we've talked as much about Survivor as we can on this week's podcast. And, you know, for those that are new to the channel, consider subscribing if you want to hear a little bit more fun banter and find out if Mucky next week is still having so much fun on New Era Survivor that we've just dragged him back into after he hasn't watched it for such a long time. We have decided on the podcast that the social and loyalty always outweighs strength. It's yet to be seen how it's going to work out for the Blue Tribe after they got rid of TK, and if they can get enough of them to the merge. The merge happens a lot quicker these days, so I feel like the consequences are less when it comes to getting the strong guy out of the game. Plus, most winners come from the tribe with the fewest people normally when you get to the merge, so maybe Gabe is trying to meta game this season, trying to go in with less people so that they can be that little tribe in between that can float in between the other tribes, and he doesn't really care if TK is going to get there or not, but I think that's all the action we have here for this week. Everybody, probably Rome. Chris, how dare you? Rome's going nowhere. You know, Rome is gonna stay. But if you like this content, please come back next week. Grab your torches, head back to camp, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye. Stay safe, everybody in Florida. Bye.